My name is Andrew Hollings. Some years ago, 37 years ago, I was run over by a double-decker bus and suffered quite bad crushing and degloving injuries to my right hand. I've always wanted to play music and never been able to choose a musical instrument due to the damage to my hand. Recently, about 3 years ago, I started my journey to become a saxophonist, and there were a number of challenges I had to overcome, not least of which was holding the instrument. I lost all of my extensor tendons in my right hand, and so I found it very difficult, virtually impossible to lift any of my fingers up on my right hand, barring my little finger. A saxophonist has to be able to hold an L shape with his hands, and they rotate the hands to hold the instrument out away from the body. Due to the lack of articulation in my right thumb, I can't make the 90-degree bend that I need to be able to do to actually push the saxophone out from underneath me by the bottom contact point, which is a thumb hook. You put your thumb underneath it and push it away from you, and you have a neck strap around your head, and between the two that forms a stable instrument. So I had to come up with something to hold it for me. This started out in life as a wigwam made from 3 broomsticks and a tea towel, but quite rapidly progressed onto a tripod with a custom attachment on the top, of which I'm going to show you in a minute. This is a standard photography tripod with a quick release attachment at the top. In the end game, I found a way of attaching a soap dish, which I bought from Amazon. Note it's black, so it nicely blends in, so when I'm playing in front of people it doesn't look outrageous. And I attach it with a collar bolt. So a collar bolt is a female thread on each end onto the camera mounting, and then in the top of here there is just simply a nut and a washer put through it to hold it. The pan, this is a silicone pan trivet, so it's nice and soft for the saxophone to rest on, so it doesn't rest on that nasty collar bolt and get scratched. So then I can stand the saxophone on here and play. And I suppose there's a lot of instruments you could actually stand on here and play. Clarinet, flute, lots of things. I chose saxophone specifically because the keys on the right hand are sprung open, so I don't have to use my extensor tendons, which I don't have, to open the valves. They are naturally sprung open, so I just have to not close them and they open automatically. Same cannot be said for things like guitars, pianos, and all of that sort of stuff. So next I'll show you me playing the saxophone using this. So here you can see I can stand the saxophone on the stand, and it's very stable. Normally a person would put their right thumb under there, like I said, I can't do that, and so I can just simply rest the saxophone on here. And it produces a lovely sound. The downside is with this is you can't move around very much. You get a bit of side to side, but there's no jumping up and down or dancing about because you are riveted to one spot. It's also height adjustable, so being a camera tripod, so I can use this with tenor or any other instrument that's within the height range. So next up, I'll show you this is, by the way, this is a one of a kind as far as I know. There are saxophone stands out there, but I don't believe they're as good or as stable and as easy to use as this, because you just stand your instrument on it. There is one like a monopod affair which you strap your instrument to, and I don't like attaching anything to my instrument, so I didn't really like that idea at all. So next I'll show you my custom made suspension system, which again is a one-off thing in the world, I believe. stand. So whilst playing one day with my tenor saxophone on the saxophone stand, it dawned on me I might be able to play it sort of side slung, as it were, instead of out in front of me, as I noticed some saxophone players for tenor saxophones wear them a bit on their side. So with that in mind, I tried it, and I suddenly found I was free of my tripod, but it was quite uncomfortable because I had to pin my thumb on some of the mechanics of the saxophone, and so I had a saxophone technician modify my saxophone to allow me to side sling it and give me a nice thumb rest. So here is the modification, and it allows me to put my thumb anywhere on this bar whilst I'm playing it at the side of me, and have a nice stable platform for my hand to stand on. If you look very carefully underneath, you can see that it simply attaches into the end of one of the posts at the top with that screw there, and the other end is simply clipped over the bar, and that bar actually activates one of the valves, and it's lined with felt to stop it rubbing and give it a smooth rotation. So the important thing is about this is it's removable and therefore doesn't devalue the saxophone, and B, it has no impact on the saxophone's playability for the disabled individual, and indeed it's removable with a little bit of it takes 5 minutes to remove it, and then an able-bodied person can play it. Next I'll show you it playing. This was quite an exciting moment for me because it means now I'm free of my stand, and I was free to move about. So this started out life as a DIY tool pouch. You can just see the bottom of it there. It's the sort of thing you wear on your side. You put tools in and screwdrivers and screws and stuff. I added onto it a custom belt, which is just simply a piece of webbing. This happens to be diver belt, weight belt webbing, because it's what I had immediately to hand. And I have quite a large waistline, so I needed something that was extra long. I wrapped the tool pouch in leather and stitched it on the back so as to protect my instrument from scuffing. I filled the tool pouch with hard foam so that it wouldn't be floppy and soft. And meanwhile, to stop downforce pulling it down my waist as I'm playing, I added some simple braces onto it with notes on. To put it on, if I can just wrestle with it a minute, it's quite simple. Put it over your head. Fasten it. Like so. And as you can see now, basically I've got a front pouch. I'll show you the saxophone modification after I've actually played it. The saxophone modification needed a hook to hook into the pouch to make it more stable. Once it's hooked in, it is actually so stable I can let go of it. You wouldn't dream of playing it like this, obviously. It's a very expensive instrument, hence my hands are just ready to catch it just in case. But the point stands, it's very stable. And as you can see, I can now move around completely freely because I'm not attached to my stand anymore. So I can play with a band, I can have a jig if I fancy a jig. I don't really dance, but I can have a jig about if I wanted to, and I'm completely able-bodied almost. I'll show the modifications required to make this happen. First up, we have our thumb rest, which is exactly the same as on the tenor saxophone. It's on the post again. This one's longer. This one was the first one that I modded, and subsequently the bar's longer. In a revisit to the tech, I'll have him shorten it up because it looks much nicer if it's shorter. Importantly is the thumb rest. So I replaced the thumb rest on this saxophone with this custom thumb rest here. And as you can see, sorry for the video jumping about, as you can see, it's longer than a standard thumb rest. A standard thumb rest is very short. So I'll show you a standard thumb rest. There's the standard thumb rest. It literally just scoops over the top of the thumb and normally has a little twist in it to help be aligned with the bone in your thumb. And if you look at my modded saxophone again, and this is the part here that hooks into the bag and makes it stable. This is a tenor saxophone. This is a trombone. This is a cello. This is a violin. This one is actually 5 flutes all playing at the same time. And this is French horns. So you can see it supports many different instruments, and now I can play, within reason, lots and lots and lots and lots of instruments. And it's completely changed my life around from an aspirational thing. This has been a life journey for over 25 years, and I just, unbelievably, I can't believe where I am today. I'm just about to take my grade 4 exam in saxophone, which I expect to pass on the second time round, narrowly missing it on the first time round. And so I can quite literally say I am a qualified musician. It's been an amazing journey. It's taken me 3 years and a lot of effort in thinking and designing these quite simple tools. This video hopefully will spread the word.